Will you take a look at that? Pretty pathetic, huh? Well, you'll never believe this, but that dwarf you're looking at was once alive. This is his story. Well, actually my story. That's right, I'm that dwarf. The name's Lhaghass. Ultra Pacifist Lhaghass. I was the World of Warcraft's nicest guy, and these murlocs ruined my life for no reason. Was that hard to believe? Look, I'll tell you what. You go back a ways, before I was dead, and all this will make sense. Alright, now that's a little too far back. Oh, look at me though. That's me in episode 1. So cute. Let's move ahead. How are ya, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Passivecore, the challenge series where our dwarven rogue adventurer Lhaghass isn't allowed to craft war in a world of Warcraft. And boy, do I have a tale for you today, because when we last left our pacifist, he had finally achieved level 8 after many trials and tribulations, including an extremely close call in Dun Moreau. Remember, Lhaghass's journey is a tough one, considering he can only obtain experience via selected quests and exploration throughout this challenge. This is classic World of Warcraft, meaning no XP via gathering professions, and we're using the Ultra Hardcore add-on for that extra layer of difficulty and immersion. If you enjoy watching this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode and drop a comment below. I'm also live streaming this over at DZTV on Twitch and right here on YouTube. No gameplay of this run will ever be conducted outside of a live stream. So, how did I get here? Being mobbed down by a horde of murlocs and stuck at the first real wall of this challenge, level 8. Well, let me take you back to Goldshire, where I experienced my first real setback. I was expecting 2 quests to unlock at level 8. One from Marshal Dugan and the other from Smith Argus in Goldshire, but neither were available. This was devastating as I didn't really know how else I could obtain XP at this point. I rushed upstairs in the inn to the rogue trainer. She didn't have anything for me either, though I did learn evasion, a very important skill for a pacifist, learned at level 8. I checked Eastvale logging camp next, and again, nothing. Everything required killing. I did, however, purchase 2 6-slot bags for 5 silver each there. These should definitely come in handy. With Elwyn tapped out and already near the border anyway, I headed towards Lakeshire, grabbing the flight path and 90 exploration each at the 3 corners, Lake Everstill, and Lakeshire itself before hearthing home. After racking my brain, I remembered one last option. There was that one quest back in Brunel Village I hadn't been able to pick up yet, so I rushed over to see and picked up Shimmer Stout. This required me to deliver the stout to a mountaineer over in the southern guard tower on the border of Loch Medan. On the way, I also double-checked with Tundra McGran in the mountains, and his quest had finally unlocked as well. His stolen stash was nearby, in a cave, and guarded by the terrifying Old Icebeard, an elite level 11 Wendigo, comparable to the likes of the dreaded Hogger in Elwyn. If he saw me, it was over. Thankfully, he rushed out of the cave, and I slipped past him with ease. I handed in for 900 XP, as well as some brand new woolen mittens for a gear upgrade of 2 armor. Little wins. On the journey across Dun Moreau, I managed to pick up a whole bunch of copper. Remember, I still do have another blacksmithing quest, so every bit counts. I found Mountaineer Barley Brew and handed in for 420 XP, and he requested I bring another cask of stout over to Mountaineer Cadrell in Loch Medan, which I handed in for another 625 XP. Lhaghass had pushed to roughly the halfway point of level 8, and Gearing Redridge was next. I got to smelting and hammering, but while working on the order, I heard someone shouting about presents. It is still Winter Vale, so I rushed over to Great Father Winter, and there they were. 2 presents addressed to Lhaghass. I decided to bank them for later. We'll open them at level 10 as a reward, and Great Father Winter promised a 3rd present for me if I could just reach level 10 before Winter Vale ended. With very few options left though, I decided on something truly dangerous. I believed in myself, and I made a mistake. I stepped into the perilous farmlands of Westfall. At first, things were going great. Exploration XP poured in, with 90 XP each from Jansen's Stead, Philbro's Pumpkin Patch, the Jengalode Mine, another 90 at Gold Coast Quarry, 90 over at the Molson Farm and Alexton's Farmstead, 90 XP at Stendhal's Pond, Moonbrook, Demont's Place, and the Lighthouse. All I needed to do was get back to Sentinel Hill at this point, and then I could fly home safely. But the dwarf dug too deep that fateful day. After mining a copper ore vein for all it's worth, I entered stealth for a slick escape away from horde of murlocs on the coast, when somehow, some way, one of them saw me. Through stealth, halfway across the beach. I panicked. I panicked so hard that I didn't even use my stone skin ability. Heck, I didn't even bother hitting the newly learned evasion, which could have saved me. 5 hits is all it took, and that was it. For poor little Lhaghass. His father's legacy remains in tatters after falling to a cardiac arrest, and now Lhaghass, claimed by the Australians.
A little bottle of water.
There would be no joining the halls of his ancestors for Lhaghass. Not on this day. But, fear not, Passivecore enjoyers, for there is another. There is Shagass. After a long and arduous journey, Shagass picks up right where his twin brother Lhaghass left off, at level 8. I retraced the exact same path Lhaghass took, and decided to continue on with the order to gear Redridge up, handing in for a healthy 1,150 XP. Sitting at 3,300 out of 5,400 XP though, Shagass finds himself in a similar situation to his twin, with little to no available XP gains. So with the 2 smithing quests complete, I decide to drop blacksmithing altogether, and learn herbalism and alchemy. I begin picking up all the needed ingredients and get working on potion crafting. With level 20 alchemy and the required potions in hand, I fly over to Menethil, and take a boat across to Kalimdor to meet Cyril Bladeleaf in Dolanar, and hand in for a whopping 700 XP. Probably not worth, traveling halfway across the world of Warcraft, but it does leave us just 4 bars shy of level 9. Now officially dry of quests that I know of though, I decided to fly over to Orbadine for exploration XP in the land of the elves instead. I ran up north and grabbed 90 XP at Bashalaran, Cliff Spring River, the Tower of Althalax, and another 90 at the ruins of Methistra. I felt like we were getting close, but I needed to head south, and this just so happens to be the coast where I like to fish for oily blackmouths. I had the required fishing level for it, so I got started fishing in pools all the way down south the coast, picking up over 30 blackmouth fish and some sealed trunks. These will definitely come in handy with money-making methods that I know of. We can use these fish to squish them into oil now that we're alchemists. We just need to get 80 alchemy to do so. But as I was fishing, something caught my eye. I noticed an NPC with a quest? That's something I didn't expect, not here. I rushed over, and sure enough, it was a quest that I could actually complete. Thunderous Windweaver required me to return to Bashalaran and find the source of a strange blue aura within the ruins. So I promptly accepted and ran over. I found a night elf over there, Asterion, who rewarded me with 675 XP. Level 9 is just so close I can literally taste it at this point. So it was time for some poetic justice. I made my way all the way back to the farmlands in the Eastern Kingdoms that took my brother from this world of Warcraft. I collected 90 XP at Stendel's Pond and another 90 at Moonbrook to finally reach level 9. It was hard work, but we've made it. And in the next episode, we'll aim to reach level 10. But for now, I ran safely along the road, picked up quests from Salma Saldine, the Felbro Farmers, Smith Argus back in Goldshire, and I even found a quest I'd missed from Remy 2 times, starting the Further Concerns quest chain. With so many quests in our log now, Shagass should be level 10 in no time. Or will Trouble find our newfound pacifist, like his twin brother, in the next episode? Until that time, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have any suggestions you'd like to see in a future episode, leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye for now.